Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. It is Tuesday night, it's Earth Day. So happy Earth Day to people who live on the planet Earth, which hopefully all of you do. Um, it's nice to be here. So you may be wondering what we're working on tonight. So I saw this photo that I thought was pretty cool of a mouse inside of a mouse hole with a cat looking in on it, and the mouse was kind of silhouetted. I thought that was really cool. So I'm just going to basically steal that idea and try to draw it myself. It probably won't look exactly like the reference picture, but that's okay. I just like the concept of it. I think it's going to be cool. So without further ado, I am doing this in colored pencil, which might take a little while. So I thought I'd just jump right in. So I kind of have it sketched out. You can kind of see a little bit already just because I was tinkering with it before the show just to see if I was happy with this idea. Um, you kind of have a silhouetted mouse here with the cat looking in through like a mouse hole and stuff, and then there's some reflection down here that I was working on. So, oh yeah, Tom's in the house tonight. He loves cats. So Tom, this one's for you. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Rome Dog, we got Kid, we got Kinsley loves puppies. That's awesome. So I'm just gonna jump right in if that's okay. Like I said, I am doing like white colored pencil on black paper, so sometimes these pictures take a little while just to build up layers and stuff. So I just kind of wanted to jump right in. And unfortunately, like I like the style of working with white pencil on black paper. I've done a number of them like this. It's been a while since I have, but when you're doing like soft shading and stuff like that, it does take a little while to build up the layers. So I want to make sure that I have plenty of time for this. So yeah, Geppetto's relaxing. It's been a long day today. It's actually really nice weather out. Unfortunately, I had to work, but I wanted to go out and enjoy the um, the outdoors just because it's so nice. I did get out this weekend. I went biking, which was fun. I put in like I don't know. I was gonna go to like a full 10 miles and stuff, but I ended up doing only four just because I was lazy. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's nice to get out of the house. So that's what I did this weekend. Um, I think I did that on Easter. It may have been like the day before Easter. Didn't really do anything for Easter. We don't have any kids around here or anything like that, so there's no Easter egg hunting. There's never anything for me to do on Easter. Um, but it is nice to just kind of relax with some downtime. Spring's in full bloom out here. I don't know what it's like where you guys live. Maybe you guys don't have greenery, but we have green all over the place, and all the birds are chirping. We got all the flowers in bloom. It's just really nice. It is nice that they made Earth Day like this time of year because it's perfect. Their Earth is in full bloom. I love it. Um, yeah, so like, you know, it was a pretty good weekend. And let's see, I guess it's Tuesday already. What did I do with my Monday? I don't remember. Oh, that's right. I was trying to get some work finished up. See, this work schedule of mine has just got all my days messed up because like I just finished up a project, so I'm pretty happy with it. Um, but it has taken up all my time, so I don't even know what day it is. But all that's in the rearview mirror. It's on to new and better projects. We'll see how they go. I was thinking about I am like I mentioned this before, but my other gig is I'm a software developer, and I'm always trying to think of things to build beyond like what my clients ask me to build, like just personal projects and stuff like that. And I was trying to think of something for artists. Um, I can't really think of anything. Like there are some problems that need to be solved. I know that people are having trouble sharing their art, like finding places to share their art. Like the places in the past have had trouble. Oh, by the way, the first thing I'm doing here is just kind of outlining the silhouette, like kind of giving myself a canvas here. But anyway, artists have like had trouble figuring out where to share their art because I don't know, like most of you guys know, AI art is a big thing, and AI art only exists because they scrape the work of other artists. They basically steal other artists' work in order to make these computer generated images. So artists are a little bit scared to just share their art online anymore. So I was thinking like it'd be kind of cool to solve that problem, but you know, bigger and better people are doing that kind of stuff. People with like more resources and stuff. So that's the only thing I can think of. But I'm I don't know. I'm always looking to like maybe start something small and build up and stuff. So I'm not giving up on the idea of something for artists. I was thinking maybe like an app that's like an art journal, maybe, but we'll see. I'm still tinkering with the idea. If you guys have any suggestions, like if you guys have any like apps that maybe you guys were thinking of doing or just thinking would be kind of cool and you just wanted to see what the feasibility is, just let me know. You should hide a bunch of eggs in the night before with a bunch of candy wrappers in the eggs. That would be cool. Rum Dog asks, Jeremy, what hosting company do you recommend? It really depends on what you're hosting. So like if you're a lot of times when people say like what hosting do you recommend, they're talking about like a generic website, probably run on like WordPress. That's not the only thing that you could host, but that's probably what you're asking about. If so, Flywheel is a pretty good WordPress hosting platform. I've used them a lot. Trying to stay away from places like GoDaddy or Bluehost or something. They are generic hosts that host just basically everybody. They're super cheap, but also like you're just thrown on a server with a bunch of other websites. Nobody really cares about you. If you ever have any problems, yeah, you can get some customer service and stuff, but they're not super helpful. All they do is read from a script. Um, kind of tell you generic information. They're not really going to help you. I like Flywheel. That's where I hope. Yeah, Flywheel. I think it's just Flywheel. Maybe it's getflywheel.com or something like that. But um, I have a number of WordPress sites on them, and that's probably what you're looking for. Of course, it snowballs from there. Like I'm a .NET C Sharp developer, so I build not just websites, but like full blown applications and stuff. So like I build like APIs, things of that nature. I host most of my stuff on AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. But also Azure is pretty good for that. Some people use like Google hosting. I don't do that myself. That's mostly for like Python developers, I think. I don't know. Or like it attracts more Python developers. I mean, you can host anything on Google. Like you can host like WordPress sites as well. But I think most people who use Google um, hosting are Python developers. And most people who use C Sharp or .NET use Azure. So I'm kind of the weird guy who uses let me adjust this camera a little bit. There we go. Now I'm not so much in the shadow. Um, so I am a .NET developer who prefers to use Amazon just because I got started on Amazon back in the day and I've just always been using them. Um, I guess I should probably like bite the bullet and get more into Azure just because like most of the people that are like my peers, also .NET developers, they are more familiar with Azure, so we need to speak all the same language and stuff. But I don't know, whatever. You get stuck in your way. Um, E107.org is my jam. CMS Linux. That's cool. I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with that, so I'm kind of like building a little bit of the foreground before I get into the cat. You can kind of see that the cat's back here in the background, but I kind of want to make this mouse hole first. It is a small drawing compared to like some of the other stuff that I do. It's not my typical style. I just thought it looked cool, and I was thinking about things to do today, and I'm like, well, it's Earth Day. Maybe I should do something Earth inspired. But I'm like, well, everything I do is like nature related. Like most of my pictures are like wildlife pictures and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm just gonna draw this cat and mouse just because whenever I'm wondering what I want to work on, I always err on the side of is it cute, and I think this is cute. Plus, I haven't done one of these black and white pictures in a while, and I think this is a good one to add to my collection. It's funny, like I am the biggest collector of my own art, and I'm kind of stingy with it. Like sometimes sometimes I've got art just to give away and everything, and like it's not doing anything. It's just sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, yeah, but like if I give it away, then I don't have that for my portfolio, and I'm like, I mean that's completely selfish, right? I should give away my art. but I keep it just so that I still have my collection. It's so weird. I'm not much of a collector either. So for me to have a collection of any type is a pretty pretty noteworthy to myself. Just kind of self examination type thing. Um, like I got a handful of comic books and stuff, but then none of them have any value. Most of the comic books I have, like I'm thinking of things that I collect. Most of the comic books I have are ones that like I picked up from like no name artists at like small comic cons just because I wanted to support local art. So they're basically independent comic books. I've got a few like Marvel ones and stuff like that, but they're not of any value really. Um, I've got some old ones that like I've just had since I was a kid, and I've got some X Files comics of for no reason. Well, I used to really love X Files, and then like they had some comics and stuff that I thought were pretty cool. Like they were basically the same kind of stories that you'd see on in the show. And I'm like, I'm gonna pick that up just for fun. I mean, the art in it isn't all that spectacular, but it doesn't take a lot of like some of my favorite comic book artists are kind of on the minimal side. Like, um, it's hard to explain. Like, somebody better than me can explain like Frank Miller art. I love his art. Um, but you'll find better artists out there, people who draw better pictures and stuff. But it's not so much about the story, the pictures. It's about the story. So like, you know, when you have an art style like Frank Miller, it doesn't really matter what story you put him in. He's going to make this really cool graphical thing out of it. It's like he did the Batman Dark Knight series. He did Batman Year One. He did Sin City, I think. Yeah. Frank Miller's he did several Daredevil comics. He's just really really like a good visual storyteller. So when it comes to comics, it's more about the storytelling, right? Which is kind of like what I wanted to do with this picture. Like, I don't think that all my pictures going forward are going to be visual stories. Um, but looking over my pictures, like you can even see the ones on my wall, they're just like portraits of something. They're portraits of animals usually, portraits of people occasionally, but it's usually like one type of like object in the picture. It's not usually I'm not usually telling a story. Now I've done that before. I've done some really cool stuff. Like I did a three-part Halloween series that I thought like painting that I thought was a pretty cool story. Um, there were three individual pictures of this little girl who was like frightened by monsters and then overcame her fears and then had a party with the monsters. I thought that was kind of cool for like a story. Like it's almost like a three-panel comic. Um, but I don't usually do that kind of stuff. So like this picture here is like it's not my story. Again, I'm basically working off of a photo that I found that somebody else had done that had the idea. But I still like the story. You're hopefully when it's all done, it kind of has like you can look at this and imagine. Well, you can imagine the thoughts of the mouse and the thoughts of the cat and stuff like that. I think that kind of stuff's cool. Again, I don't typically do kind of stuff like that, but I love it when I do. Like whenever I wouldn't say force myself to do it, but whenever challenge myself to do like a story in my art, I find the art more interesting. Um, like a portrait of a lion or a cat or a mouse by itself, it looks cool. I like it, but it doesn't really tell you anything. It's not, it doesn't really engage you. You look at it and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then move on. So I don't know. It's just something that one day, you gotta work with these things. It's not like you're just automatically going to be a great visual storyteller. I'm not. But you have to continue practicing so that like one day you wake up and you're like, oh wow, I'm telling stories with my pictures. I might as well make a comic or graphic novel or something like that, which is on my bucket list. I don't see myself doing that anytime soon just because of like I don't have any good stories in my head. But one day I will build up to that kind of stuff. Maybe next year. We'll see. Maybe I'll think about it this year and then actually produce something next year. I like to make goals 1 year out. But Anyway, it's a lot of fun. So I'm just building up the reflection in the foreground. As you can see, he's kind of like in a hole, and I know this is tedious and it does take a little while, but gotta lay this groundwork. As soon as I get this in, I will move on to the cat, I swear. So hopefully the weather's good where you guys are and you're enjoying your Earth Day. Um, I'm not a big celebrator of Earth Day. It's just something I noticed was going on today. Um, I'm a huge celebrator of spring. I love spring. Here in Kentucky, we have a series of events. They kind of unfold in quick succession. So you have Easter weekend, followed by the Land Rover Kentucky 3-day event, which is like eventing, which is a horse jumping and stuff. I've got video of that. I'm still planning on posting it maybe this week or something like that. But that's like a big horse show here in Kentucky. Um, and then following that, and we had the Keeneland, which is a horse racing. That's a big thing. So all these things happen during spring, and they just kind of like just make spring this beautiful season for Kentucky. It's just so nice. It's all green out there. You have horses in the pastures or in the paddocks. It's just very nice. Um, but yeah, you have horse racing, then you have horse competitions as far as like eventing goes, and then you have then after that you have I think the Oaks betting. I'm not sure, but right around the corner is the Kentucky Derby. Think that's like the first week of May. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look it up, but that's right around the corner. So we have all these things. There's some art fairs that I kind of like set my watch by every year, just because like it's the launch of spring for me. These art shows. So I think that first one's like the first week of May. It's going to be great. I don't know. I just love Easter. It's like Easter is just Easter is just the start of the spring, and I love spring. It's great. So anyway, I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. I'll probably be this way for a couple of weeks, and then I'll get back into like, it's so hot outside. And, oh, the summer is dragging on. But no, I love spring. It's great. Oh, wait, oh, Tom's got the best dinners. Like I've seen pictures of his dinners, so I'm guessing it's taco related since it's Tuesday. But he doesn't scrimp on his tacos. Like I'm happy enough with Taco Bell, but his tacos look gourmet. So hopefully that's what he's having. I don't know, but whatever he's having, I'm sure it's great. Oh, it's pasta night. Nice. Any particular kind of pasta, or it always ends up being about food on here. All right. So I like this reflection kind of coming down here. We kind of soften this up. I'll come back and mess with this a little bit later. Um, get some a little bit of the inside of the wall over here. Come back and work with that. Again, this is so much not my normal style, so it's a little bit of a not a challenge. I've done a couple pictures like this. It's just a little bit different. Usually I'm like slopping around pastels or watercolor or whatever. This is more this is more of a slow build up, slow burn. Get a little bit of the back side of this mouse, kind of straight. All right. So I feel like we have enough of the foreground done where you kind of get the gist of it. So let's move on to the cat itself, and let's build up his eye, or her. This could be a female cat. I don't know. What do you guys want? You guys want a female cat or a male cat? Guess what? They look the same. If there are differences between the genders of cats, I do not know them. Or dogs. Male dogs and female dogs, they all look the same to me. I like drawing cats. Cats are fun. I've drawn more than a few lately. Like I go in spurts. So like um I'll draw like I try not to double up. Like I try not to draw the same thing twice. Um, you know, like I like to space them out and stuff. But I do keep coming back to certain pictures. Like I always come back to horses. You'll always find me doing horses at some point. Um, but I do like kind of revisit the well, I guess, on certain animals, and one of them is definitely cats because cats are there's so much you can draw with cats. You know, they are very photogenic. They're very cute. Like you can draw a cute cat, you can draw an evil cat, you can draw like, I mean, a murderous cat. This cat's got murder in its eyes. So you know, they run the entire spectrum of different. I mean, they're basically murder animals. Like they are built to murder things. And maybe I shouldn't say murder on YouTube. I might get they might like shadow ban me or something. But yeah, they've got claws that are like designed to just kill. So like um, it's funny that they also are very adorable and very cute. You know, they can be both. And you know, it's just amazing to me that you get the whole spectrum of animal world in these cats. They're not like dogs. Dogs and cats, you know, they're both. Um, but then sometimes they want attention and they will let you know. It's always cute when they do, and you always feel honored. Like, oh, the cat has chosen me for today's affection. You feel special. Like whenever a cat sits in my lap, I just feel like, what did I do to deserve this? And like, I feel like special and stuff. We had salmon patties with and veggies. I know BIC could throw down some salmon patties. That does sound good. I do like salmon. I could go to a steakhouse and like I like steak too, but I can go to a steakhouse and just get salmon. It's like the guilt-free dinner, you know, like you eat salmon and you don't feel like you no matter how much of it you eat, it's like Jello. You don't feel like you overate. That's so like not everybody's into sushi, but that's why I like sushi. I feel like I can eat like a ton of sushi. Like I had a pizza today, and I feel guilty about eating that pizza. Um, but if I eat sushi or like fish of any type, really, I never feel like I overate. I mean, it's possible to overeat, obviously. I mean, Japanese people they primarily eat like seafood and stuff, and you have sumo wrestlers, so I guess it's possible. I don't know, I'm making a joke, but I do I do like I do like sushi, and I like cooked fish, obviously. I like I like seafood that is I mean I like all kinds of seafood, don't get me wrong, but I particularly like Cajun seafood, so like or Creole, I guess you would call it. Like my understanding, I don't know if this is true or not, but my understanding, what I heard is the difference between Cajun jambalaya and Creole jambalaya is that one is made with seafood and the other isn't. So like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with jambalaya. One of my favorite things. I love jambalaya, but you can make jambalaya with mostly anything. So like, if you make jambalaya with chicken and andouille sausage, that would be Cajun. But if you use like shrimp, um, I think it's just shrimp, but maybe like I don't know, like mussels and stuff like that. If you make it with that, then it's suddenly Creole. I guess that's what I heard. I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things, but that's my understanding. So you can already see this the murder in this cat's eyes. I love it. I do love drawing with white pencil on black paper. It's just so fun. Um, Especially so like I've been drawing with pastel a lot lately, and it's a little bit different because like you know I'm already dealing with color, but if you always draw with graphite pencil, like you're always just drawing with pencil or even charcoal or something like that, if you're always drawing with like black on white paper, give this a shot. It is so rewarding to be drawing with light. Um, and getting like all the light areas in and stuff. Like most of this is going to be in shadow. It's just so fun building up the light, and that's all this picture is, especially with like the silhouette. There's barely anything going in this mouse. This is all dark. I might get a little bit of his chin in the highlight, but yeah, this is all silhouette. It's really cool. Kinsley says, Jeremy, you streamed on a good night. Takes my mind off of going to the doctor tomorrow. Just had a checkup, so I'll be fine. Hey, yeah, like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to distract you guys from the world. Doctor's appointments, the news, all the bad things. Just chill out here and draw, and hopefully you're inspired to draw pictures as well. But if you're going to the doctor's tomorrow, I hope it's good news. I hope you're doing well. Um, I can say I'm sure it's going to be fine, but I really don't know. I'm just telling you that you have my best wishes. Good luck. I'm sure it'll be okay. Not like this mouse. This mouse is going to need to get to an animal hospital tomorrow. This mouse is. I don't know. I have hopes for this mouse. I think this mouse is going to get away. Like the cat is basically sitting at his front door, staring at him, begging him to come out. But I think this mouse is smart. I think the mouse is just taunting the cat, and that the mouse has like a back door, and like he's going to escape out the back door or something like that. I don't think this mouse is going to get eaten by the cat. I think this mouse is a smart mouse. This is basically Jerry and Tom, just like Kid said, or Tom and Jerry. I guess you have to say it in that way, or else it sounds weird. But yeah, yeah, this mouse is going to be fine. I have high hopes for this mouse. This mouse is going to go on to like build little mouse homes and stuff all over the house. Gonna go off and you know have a family, have kids and stuff, watch them grow up. This mouse has got all its good days ahead of him. So this is a very. Positive story. It looks like a murder scene, but it's not. This is a this is the story of the mouse that got away. That's what I'm going to title it. All right, so when I first started drawing this, I thought I didn't have high hopes for the mouse. I thought the mouse was definitely going to get it. But the more I draw it, I realized, no, I think this mouse is going to get away. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think the mouse is going to live through this? I don't know. I feel positive for the mouse. I just don't know. So, um, like a lot of you guys are familiar with colored pencils and how they work, so I'm not going to go too far into like explaining it, but it's basically just kind of like skating around the page, um, and like what is fun and what is painstaking about colored pencils is you really need to build up like layers to smooth everything out, but it is like dancing on the page. You're basically like ice skating here, and it's a nice way to pass the time. Like it really is relaxing. Some of my pictures, I don't know, maybe a little bit more stressful. The Whenever I'm working with pencil of any type and I'm just building up layers of the value, I always find it relaxing. And the reason I don't do it more often is it is kind of time consuming. It does, to get a really hyper realistic picture, you could spend hours. I never do that. I get an approximation of realism. Um, I don't know if there's a technical term for that. It's like not hyper realism, it's just realism. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I can usually get that done fairly quickly. But in order to get like a super realistic picture with a lot of layers and stuff, it does take a while. But again, on this black paper and stuff, you already have a lot of the work done for you. All the shadows are already there. You're just building up highlights. Adorable looking cat already. I'm liking him. And then, like you're in charge. Like you can sit there and say, "Hey, I've got enough information in here where I feel comfortable." Like you can already tell what this is. You can tell that there's a mouse. You can tell it's a mouse hole. You can tell that there's a cat. I personally feel like there needs to be more information in this picture, but you're the artist. You can call it. You can call it at this level and just be like, "I'm done." That's what's so cool about doing these type of pictures. You're basically drawing the highlights, and it's up to you, like how lit the room is. Um, in my view, it's a little bit more lit, and I need to get more light in here, but you stop wherever you want. I think I might go kayaking on a weekday this week. It's just so nice out there. I don't want to wait for the weekend. I would have gone this weekend, but I was a little bit busy doing other things. I really only had time for a bike ride, but it's a nice bike ride. Here in central Kentucky, we have this thing called the Legacy Trail. It's basically so we have the horse park, which is where I used to work. I worked there for like a decade, or well, actually like 12 years. But we have this place called the horse park. It's basically a well, it's a horse theme park, if you can imagine. But it's mostly like it's basically a working horse farm, and they also have like offices there, which is where I worked at. I worked for the United States Equestrian Federation, um, again for many years. Um, but otherwise, it's a working horse farm, so it's really kind of cool. But anyway, from there they have this bike trail, walking trail, whatever you want to call it, all the way from that horse park all the way into town, and trying to think how many miles that is. It's at least 10 miles. It may be more, but it's very nice, and it's like through the horse country, through the horse fields, all of that stuff. It's um it's really very pleasant, and I like the bike ride through there. I mean, I'll go for a walk sometimes, but you really can't get that far when you're walking, or I can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy, but yeah, I like to go biking because at the end of that 10 miles or whatever, there's a craft beer place. So that's what I do. I ride my bike, for fitness, all the way down to a bar, so I can get beer. But it's worthwhile. Like you put in all that effort. Um, the problem is you ride all the way down there and then you have to ride all the way back because like I don't personally park a car at the end. I guess you could, but I don't. So I ride all the way down there and ride all the way back, but it's worth it because like I said, there's beer at the end of it, and it's good beer. It's called the Blue Stallion Brewery. If anybody happens to be in the Lexington area, definitely recommend it. There's a couple of craft breweries around here that I recommend. That's one of them. We got half the kitty's face in. It's pretty good. All right, so this other side I need to make sure I get in, but I want it to be a little bit more in shadow. So if I can kind of figure out where, again, the trick is you draw this stuff lightly, um, so that you can kind of work your way around without feeling like you're committing to anything. If you draw it really lightly, you can continue to move things around. But I feel pretty confident with how I got this. So I'm going to smooth my way around. I think, again, most of this is in shadow, so I'm just adding a little bit of highlighted fur, kind of a little bit of a highlighted eye. I don't know how this looks on camera, but on my end, it's really light, which is exactly what I want. I just want to convey the information that there is an eyeball over here without overdoing it. There's a little bit of fur through here, so I'm just going to draw in these light things. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it looking good so far? All right, I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight here on the eye just so that I know that that's there. Add a little bit of highlight over here. I'll come back over this with like a pen, I think, here in a minute, but I just want to get those in there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, sorry. Just musing. Looking good. I love the details in the cat's face. Thanks. Hey, shout out from Coopart. Welcome. Welcome to the show. It's kind of weird calling this a show. I don't think of it as a show. Welcome to the chat. There we go. The chat about the murder cat. I don't know why I keep calling it. I mean, they really are like murder beasts. Like they have like claws that are just built for like and like their teeth and stuff. They are deceptively cute because they are not your friends. I mean, don't get me. They are your friends and stuff. Like if they're domesticated, I'm just saying that nature designed these guys to like kill little mice like this. All right, come back and add some highlights on that. So doing pretty good, I think. Let's see. I think this needs to kind of come down a little bit more. Need to make sure that this looks okay with the other side. Yeah, that's good. All right. Sorry, I had to make some adjustments there, so they've kind of, I mean, it feels kind of lined up. So that's good. All right, cool. Sorry. Sometimes I get distracted. Jeremy's going to get a BUI. What is a BUI? BUI, something under influence. I am DUI, drawing under influence. What's a BUI? You're gonna have to explain that one. Hey, MJ's in the house. Nice. How's it going, MJ? Welcome to the show. Just drawing Kitty. All right, so he's got a chin. I need to build up. I mean, it doesn't really take that long, but if, like, honestly, you can go like overboard with the layers here. Like I've seen some people, like I said, going 6 hours or more building up layers. Jeremy takes our minds away from life. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, fun at nice. Um, yeah, you're supposed to come here to relax. You know, especially for my Thursday show. So Thursday is supposed to get you ready for the weekend. Tuesday, like I don't know, you've already had your Monday. You're coming into Tuesday like, oh man, I'm battle weary. Like I've seen some things with my Monday. This is supposed to decompress you going into Wednesday, which is like middle of the week. You're halfway there, and then Thursday gets you ready for the weekend. It's all by design, guys. I put a lot of thought into these days. I'm here to make you guys happy and enjoying life. It's it's all part of my plan. The happier you guys are, the more you guys are enjoying life, the more I'm enjoying life because I get to say, hey, you know what? Um, let's see. I don't know how many. All right. So this is what I like. I hesitate to say this because the likes are going to go up. I know how you guys are, but whenever I see a like and say I got like say I got like 10 likes or something, I'm like, that's 10 people I made happy today. You know, that's the way I look at it. So you guys being happy is completely selfish on my part. I want you guys to be happy so that I'm happy that you guys are happy. It's all part of the plan. All part of the devious plan. Hey, those Finn people in the rooms, like Kid and MJ and maybe some others as they show up. But you guys going to Finbury? Did you guys hear about that? If not, I'm sure local. I know. or not all of you guys, but some of you guys live in the Rocky Mountains. I think if I went out there, I would go out there and kind of pair it up with like looking for probably JCB's Fin Box because I think that's in Colorado. But anyway, I don't have any plans. But it's not until like August, so I feel like I have some time to think about it. I probably will not go, but it's a possibility. Last time I traveled that far out west was for a conference, and I don't have any conferences coming up. I'm liking this. I think it's looking pretty good. All right, so got a bit of a chin in here. That's good. Get Jeremy, what? Oh, when is it? Sorry. It's in August. I can get the date for you if you want, or I can just encourage. Ben is hosting it, but it's at Hyde Park in Santa Fe. Shiloh is supposed to be there, so if you guys want to meet Shiloh, that's a good opportunity. I'm sure Ben's gonna announce more like on his video channel thingy, but. Uh, I think they have a date or like a weekend for it. But yeah, it's supposed to be at like Hyde Park in Santa Fe. You know, basically like the old Finburies were. So it's all part of that fun and answers. You know, like he kind of promised like a Finbury. So I don't know. I don't know how many people are going to go there. Like you know, back in the day it was to meet Forrest Fenn. Nowadays, you know, Forrest Fenn's not around, so you'd be going to like meet Shiloh and just hang out with friends and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's not until August, so you have a little while. Yeah, some of the Finn family. So definitely Shiloh. I don't know if anybody else is going to be there. I know that in the past, um, I think Shiloh's sister went to one of these things before, and you know, I don't even know all their names and stuff. I mean, I'm sure at some point I knew these things, but I'm not good with names anyway. So like I probably forgot any of them. But you know, Shiloh's easy to remember. Um, but yeah, at least he's going to be there. Maybe others. It does sound pretty interesting. Like the thing is, it's so far. You know, I would definitely fly out there and stuff. And um, you know, I have it until August to decide, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, if you guys are interested, I will get more info on that. Like, I'm not sure where he's posting that. I know he posted in the Discord, but not all of you guys are hanging out in there. There's a website. Sorry, yeah, you can go to the website finbury.com. I think it is. Yeah, they just put up a website. There you go. Hey, I feel like I'm actually breaking news here. There you go. You guys might not even know about this. Finbury.com. You can go there, check it out. It's got the dates on it, I'm pretty sure, and the location and stuff like that. So there you go. I should have mentioned that to begin with. What can I say? I drink a lot. I'm pretty useless. It's a very good party. I mean, I would go just to see all of you guys. I'm not sure if like August is so far away. It's hard for me to plan that far in advance. You know, uh, all my software development is freelance. I don't even know what projects I'm going to be working on at the time. It's hard for me to plan at this stage in my life. You know, back in the day it was probably easier, but now I'm on my own. Um, it is challenging for me to plan that far in advance. But I would love to go and meet you guys. I mean, that would be so cool. But again, like you know, it's also tough to reconcile because it's not like there's treasure out there anymore. You're not meeting Forrest Fenn, that kind of stuff. So you know, it's something to think about. But I love Santa Fe. Like I didn't get a chance to actually explore Santa Fe. I only drove through it back in my treasure hunting days. I love Taos. Taos is so beautiful. But I would love to go and visit Santa Fe just to you know, just for the art. And they have the Meow Wolf there. Like, if you guys are familiar with Meow Wolf. Um, yeah, August 22nd. Sorry. It was like the last weekend of August. I couldn't remember. Yeah, there could be treasure out there. Yeah, Shadow might bring some stuff, you know, like there are jars and you know, he usually brings stuff. I'm like he brings stuff, you know. Yeah, who knows? There might be jars, and there might be like a mini treasure hunt. I don't know. I think Ben and Ashley are kind of planning the events and stuff. There's probably going to be like the usual stuff like trivia and probably some prizes and stuff. I have no idea. I really don't. Um, I'll probably think about it more the closer August comes around, but as of right now, at least you guys know. Like I don't think outside of the Discord he's even mentioned it. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to do like a live stream or something at some point. So hey, that's cool. I got the break news on this show. You guys probably hadn't heard about that. That's neat. Neat. I will tell him I broke news. Santa Fe is awesome. I've been there 3 times. Nice. Kid's been there 4 times. I kind of kicked myself in the pants because like when I was out treasure hunting, I was up in the Cimarron Canyon area. So I was, after driving 10 hours out, or sorry, 20 hours out there, I was pretty hyper focused on my spot. And I always thought that, like, if I found it, then I would, like, beeline down to Santa Fe. But, obviously, I never found any treasure. So in my mind, it was like by the time I was done searching, I'm like, I'm just ready to go home. But I feel like I should have spent some time in Santa Fe. I did drive through it once, but I felt like I should have spent some time there because now I kind of want to go back and see all the things I missed. I did spend a fair amount of time in Taos, which is beautiful. I love Taos. For those who don't know, Taos is home to a pueblo that has been lived in continuously for like 1,000 years. I should draw that sometime. It's this beautiful adobe pueblo, and I love that place. I love Taos. Great art community. The the galleries there, top notch. And I feel like the same thing would be in Santa Fe. Santa Fe is a beautiful, from my understanding, a beautiful art colony essentially. So I would love to go and explore the galleries. That's how Forrest Fenn himself got famous. He was a gallery owner there in Santa Fe, the gallery owner, essentially. I'd love to see his old gallery. I'd love to. I'd love to go to Meow Wolf. Like if you guys aren't familiar with Meow Wolf, it's definitely interesting there in Santa Fe. Yeah, Tom and Jerry. We're drawing Tom and Jerry, like a realistic Tom and Jerry, I guess. Um, if Tom was a real cat and Jerry was a real mouse, that's what we're drawing here. But yeah, I would love to go to Santa Fe. I honestly would. The only question is whether or not I'm gonna have the time available, which is I know it's dumb because like as an adult I should be able to predict where I will be in August, but I have no idea. Don't know. Um, you know, it's kind of on my list to rectify that kind of stuff. I would love that kind of stability to where I can predict where I would be, but my projects are not like that. But like I'm still young enough where I can live that kind of uncertainty, I guess. You know, once you reach a certain age, you kind of want to know what to expect. But I don't know. I like not knowing. I like having a life that is unpredictable. It's challenging for me. Kind of keeps me on my toes. I'm not like other people. So like I know everybody says that, but I am not like other people, and it took me a while to realize that I will never be like other people. Other people, as far as I know, live their lives with some sort of idea of how it all works and stuff. I do not know anything about anything. I am constantly going through life surprised about like just how things work and stuff like that. I don't think I ever grew up. I'm of a certain age now, and I still feel like I'm I don't know, in my 20s trying to figure things out. So for me not to know whether or not I will be able to go somewhere in August is not that surprising to me. Yeah, because again, yeah. Now, Jeremy's old gallery is pronominal. I don't know what that means. That sounds like it sounds like it's good. Um, yeah, like none of us are normal. I'm just saying that like I am I'm not I'm not living a normal life. I don't think. I'm living a life of constant adventure, I think, for good or bad. You know, like at my age, I shouldn't be taking as many risks as I take in terms of like the projects I take on and stuff like that. I should definitely be in a different spot, but I'm not. It is what it is. I feel like I'm in my 20s having a second young person dilemma, or I don't know how to put words to it, but just living my life. But we'll see. I think it would be fun to meet all of you guys. I think that would be a grand adventure to go out there. I don't feel like driving out there. Like I in the past, like when I was doing treasure hunting, I would drive out to New Mexico. I don't feel like I need to do that again. So I would definitely fly out there. It's been a while since I've flown too. I never liked flying. Like, do you guys like flying? I hate flying. I don't feel like human beings should be in an airplane. It always bothers me. Like, I don't seriously think anything's going to happen or anything like that. It's just I'm conscious of the fact that I'm like in a tin can hurling through the sky, and it's just it always weirds me out. How are we doing on time? We're doing great because we got the basics of the picture in here. We just need to add a little bit of detail and such. Hey, Lorraine's here. Nice. She says, I would love to go to Santa Fe, but I need to figure out my schedule. I would not be able to camp because I would have to fly. Yeah, the good news about announcing it this soon, like I don't know what I'm going to be doing in August, but it is nice that they announce it this soon so you can make plans. Yeah, because I can. I love road trips. I really do. I just don't think I could stomach another road trip to New Mexico. But yeah, I that's a highlight of my adventuring days. I love the road trip. I'm one of the few people that I've ever talked to that loves Kansas, driving through Kansas. I just love all of that raw America out there. I grew up um, influenced by Huckleberry Finn when I was a teenager, so that whole travel kind of like he had the raft going down the river and all that stuff. So that kind of stuff like really stuck with me through my teens. And then when I was a young man, um, I fell in love with Jack Kerouac and On the Road and the Beat Poets and all that stuff. So like traveling by car, like the Great American Road Trip, that is deep in my veins. There are other roads that I would love to travel. Um, I have been down many a road. There are like the Pacific Coast Highway that is on my bucket list. I would love to do that one. But yeah, the basically just leaving out of Kentucky, driving through St. Louis, just heading out west. I think I went through like the tip of Texas into Colorado down to New Mexico. It's magical. Everybody should do. I've joked before that people should fly all the way to the east just so they can drive west. And I'm joking there, but honestly, that is, if you're looking for some life experience, that's what you should do. Like you should definitely consider doing that. Um, like even if you live in California or whatever, fly out to New York and rent a car and drive all the way back to California. It's an interesting experience, especially at night if you're like a night owl. So like I do not sleep. Yeah, Route 66 exactly. Now Route 66 is all kind of broken up now, but um that's the same kind of thing. Yeah. um like I was saying, so like I have trouble sleeping when I'm traveling. I have this weird thing where it's like I can't sleep until I get there. And whenever I would drive out to New Mexico from Kentucky, it's a 20-hour drive. I would drive 17 hours of that at least myself before I just got so tired that somebody else, like my dad, would have to take over driving. But I would insist that I drive most of that just because, like, I don't know, it's just tough for me to sit in a car while somebody else is driving. I can't sleep. So um, I have many a night driving through raw America, just like out in the middle of America, in the middle of the night. Can't see anything on the horizon, just your headlights just into a black void. I love that. It is so amazing. It is magical. If you haven't had the experience, I highly recommend it. If you're a young person looking for a life experience, put that on your list to take that road trip across the United States. Now, I don't know, like honestly, I think that's a truly uniquely American experience. I don't know that like you can find that anywhere else. You probably have road trips in other countries and stuff like that, but America is so big. It is so big, and it's not just the size of America. It's the people. The people in America are so amazing to meet these different people all across the country. There's we have a lot more in common than we probably would like to admit, but there's definitely some uniqueness to each of us in different regions and stuff, and it's just kind of cool to like go out and like in New Mexico, literally in New Mexico, I met some of the nicest people that I ever met, um, which is weird because like you get the impression that New Mexico is like kind of like this like dirt pile or whatever. I don't know. People have impressions of Kentucky that just aren't true either. But my impression of people in New Mexico is that they were super nice. They were so nice. At the Taos Pueblo, I remember when I drove out there, I had to rent a four-wheel drive because I went out there in this little Nissan Versa, which is great for gas mileage for like a road trip. But when I got out there, I wanted to go explore the mountains, so I needed a four-wheel drive. Um, so I talked to the people at Enterprise, and they didn't have anything like what I needed on hand, but they said that there was one out at the Taos airport. So they said, well, you know, if you go out and pick it up, you can borrow that or rent that. And I'm like, all right, that sounds cool and stuff. Um, but the lady at the rental place had to take me out there to get it to pick it up and stuff. So she's driving me through Taos, and she's actually from Taos Pueblo. Like she doesn't live in well, she didn't live in the Taos Pueblo when I was there, but her family did. She is like a direct descendant of the people who live there, all of that stuff. So she was driving me around to the airport so I could pick up this truck, and she was just telling me all these great stories about the people who live there and everything. And it's just awesome that I had that kind of experience. People would pay for that kind of experience, that kind of a direct experience of Taos, and I got it for free just because I needed to rent a truck. It's so nice, and you know, people at the gas stations, just people in general out there were just so nice. I don't know. Maybe I was just like in a good mood or something. I don't know. And everybody had this like this aura about them through like these gold gilded lenses. But anyway, I think that people out there were nice, and people in Kansas were cool, and I don't know. I just love the road trip. I really do. Like I'm babbling now, but it is true. Accidentally made my dog mad. Oh, what'd you do to your dog? I'm sure that's not true. Dogs are so forgiving. I have accidentally stepped on my dog's tail countless times, and the dog always forgives me. The dog looks at me like, "What did I do?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. You didn't do anything." All right, so I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to try to put in some highlighted areas just so that some certain places stand out a little bit more than others. So I'm going to start with this like little highlight on the eyes, and then a little dab here. So what I like about this white gel pen is like everything else is like this soft white, but this white gel pen kind of really makes things stand out in a kind of like pick and choose kind of way. So like, yeah, it always works nice when I come back with this white gel pen. Rain says it's coming out really well. Thank you. I like I said, I don't always do it, and I really, really enjoy it when I do. But visual storytelling is really where I'd like to get to in my art, like where I'm telling a story in every piece. I feel like I can draw well enough where people are, you know, people are so nice to watch my stuff. But I also want to kind of like create art that tells a story, and at some point I'll get there. But this piece I feel like is a step in the right direction. Because like I don't know what these guys are thinking, but they can clearly see that they're thinking about something. This cat I the cat just wants to play with the mouse. That's all it is. He doesn't want to kill the mouse. He just wants to play with it. That's all. He just wants the mouse to come out and be like, we're having a party. You're invited. Bring your own food. Kinsley says, I had my blanket on the couch and didn't realize Moose is Kinsley's dog, was laying his head on it. So when I moved it, he proceeded to give me a dirty look and get up on the and get up and lay on the floor. Yeah, yeah, my dogs are like that. Bear will start the night like in bed and stuff, but eventually throughout the night, I don't know, Bear gets offended and just or maybe overheated. I don't really know, but she will get up and leave. She wants to be part of the part of the like communal experience and stuff, but she will get up and leave if she is not having a good time. But yeah, I always feel bad. I do step on their tails a lot. I do kind of forget, especially Guinness. He's such a small dog. I forget he's there sometimes, and I will accidentally hurt him completely by accident. I feel so bad every time I do. So I'm adding this highlight along the outside of the mouse hole, just to kind of like let you know that there is this kind of structure there. I guess there you go. So this the combination between the white colored pencil and the gel pen, it just really works really well on this black paper to kind of give like some highlights and stuff. I'll put another one on his nose. And then I'll come back with some more colored pencil just to kind of blend all this stuff in. And sometimes the gel pen actually isn't enough. I've had to go back with actual like acrylic paint sometimes to supply some highlight, but I think it's working fine this time. All right, so we want some highlight through here. I think it's kind of cool. Like you can definitely see that the mouse is here. I feel like I'm doing a decent job of conveying information here. You can definitely see the mouse, see that the kitty's there. This piece is making me want a kitty, but I can't have a kitty. All right. Are you allergic to cats, or is it just like your parents won't let you have one? Cats are cool. Cats are definitely different than dogs, though. Like, even if you have a dog and you're like, oh, I want a cat, totally different animals. So, like, definitely put some thought into whether or not you want a cat. I like cats. I've always liked cats. There's always been a cat in my house, um, but they're not for everyone. Same thing with dogs. Like, some people are cat people and not dog people. And some whiskers. It always makes me nervous whenever I put in whiskers that fast. Like, just, you know. You can always make mistakes. One of the so I guess a tip is like when I'm using this gel pen, sometimes I kind of want to blend things in. So there's two different ways to blend it in. I can blend it in by coming back with the pencil, which I do, but also I can smudge it with my finger. So you'll see that there's like white on my finger. That's because I've been smudging some of this area just to kind of blend it in with the colored pencil. It is kind of tough. I don't know if it's because like these this gel pen's like older than dirt, but drawing over the colored pencil because the colored pencil is wax is sometimes a little bit challenging, but it seemed to make it work. So just getting some highlights on his murder mittens. Murder mittens. I don't know if that's an original. Like, I think somebody said that before, but anyway, that's funny. They really are. They're like murder mittens. Like they're like Wolverine claws. All right, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna work on this floor a little bit just because I want this to be a lot more brighter. So I do have like another colored pencil here. I have a longer one, but I'm trying to use up. So I have this almost brand new one I bought, but I want to use up this stub. So kind of press down hard and get like a real shine on this floor. I don't know what else to call it, but I wanted a nice little highlight bar going across. And I think that would stop right around here. So he's got kind of like a little paw that kind of comes down. So I just gotta blend this in with the other stuff. Now there's ways to blend colored pencil so that it's nice and smooth. You know, you can try a blending stump. You can use solvents and stuff. I'm just going the route of lightly, like heavily going into it to give it the kind of like lightness that I want, but then kind of coming back and putting in less pressure to kind of like blend it in. So it's kind of like a little bit of a gradient. Maybe at some other point I'll come back and kind of like smooth this out a little bit, but for now, I just want like this highlight because like the light is kind of coming through the hole into this scene. So it's highlighting this floor that's actually behind the wall. And I think that that gives it a nice little contrast. So you have this like really light foreground and going into the dark background. I'm just kind of like varying my strokes back and forth and stuff, like mostly circular and stuff, but kind of trying to cloud it up a little bit, if that makes sense. This is looking fantastic, Jeremy. Thank you so much, Jeremy. That's incredible. What do you call this style? So it's really just drawing. Like you could do the same thing with graphite pencils or charcoal pencils or something like that. The only real difference is that you're drawing the lights instead of the shadows. And so it's on black paper using a colored pencil instead of like a graphite pencil. I don't know if there's a name for this. Probably there's some Italian name because the Italian artist named everything. Um, but if there's a name for this, I wouldn't know what it is. I just look at it as like white on white pencil on black paper. I don't know what you would call this. There's some good examples of this kind of stuff if you go googling or Pinterest. I love going on Pinterest. Um, just look for like white pencil, black paper, and you'll see some really good work, like stuff that puts my stuff to shame. I don't know what the name of the style would be though. I think it's just drawing. It's just instead of drawing the shadows, you're drawing the highlights, and you're just kind of going back and forth. Um, developing those values. So like there's really highlighted areas through here, and then there's really highlighted areas in the face, but not everything is highlighted. Same as, not everything's in shadow if you were drawing with graphite pencils. But it is a lot of fun. Like I said, I've done a couple of drawings like this, and I always enjoy how they look. Um, sometimes I overdo it. So the style here, whatever you would want to call it, um, works best for, pictures like this, where there's at least a little bit of a silhouette. You kind of have to leave some of the features to your imagination. It's not good if you're drawing everything, because then it gets too much. But if you're drawing, like a silhouetted thing and you're just drawing the highlights around it, it works really cool for portraits. So like if you're drawing a person's face and they're like in side profile or something like that. So like if you look at my face, there's like, here we go. There's like a really highlighted area right here. There's a highlighted area along my nose, along this side. It's just how the cameras are. All of this stuff here, you can leave all that dark. And then those type of pictures where you're really focusing on the highlights and stuff, those turn out really well in this style. Versus if you were to draw every single feature on my face, it wouldn't turn out as well because, you know, you need to leave some stuff to the imagination. Um, like if you have a photo and you were prepping it for this kind of style, like as a reference photo or something like that, I would take it into Photoshop and I would up the contrast of different things and then I would make it black and white because it really is a high contrast picture. Yeah, I think that that would probably be the best way to describe prepping a photo, like a reference photo for this type of style. You would be making it very high contrast, where the whites are over white and the darks are over dark, like over dark. Anyway, I'll come back and mess with this foreground here a little bit. I kind of wanted to see if I can blur this out just with my finger. Yeah, it looks a little bit blurred. Kind of want this to be kind of cloudy down here. But anyway, I'll work on that. I do want to kind of get up into here and fix some of these things. Let's see. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay on time. We got like maybe 15 minutes. But yeah, it's really good for high contrast pictures, high contrast black and white pictures. Like I've tried to introduce color into this type of picture. It works best with black and white. Um, like if I tried to make this cat in color on this black paper, I don't know. Like somebody with more skill than I can maybe make that work, but I'm not going to be able to make it work so well. This works best as a black and white picture. But you do see that like you're just building up layers of white. And somewhere in my video collection there is examples of me doing a bunch of different animals this way. Um, I think I did a woman's face this way that turned out really nice. It really is fun. I really do enjoy this. Just it's something different. Honestly, I haven't drawn many pictures in graphite lately as well. I need to kind of do that, but there again, it would be the inverse. I would be doing like building up shadows. Here I'm building up highlights. You can do it fairly quickly, like you saw it. Like if you get the basics of the um, the form in there, like where everything is and stuff, you can kind of start building up highlights above that. And it's just layers, layers and layers and layers. How bizarre. I don't know what you're calling bizarre, but how bizarre. That's what happens when I don't pay attention to chat. I lose context of what you guys are talking about. But that's okay. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are going to Finbury, that's definitely more incentive for me to. I'm just going to throw this out there now. I'm probably not going to go. However, it doesn't mean I don't want to be there, and it's not like I'm not going to be there in spirit. And I do see the benefit. Like, I think it would be kind of cool to meet Shiloh. Like, Shiloh knows my name. Like, that's not like an egotistical thing. Shiloh was aware that I was doing that Leroy cartoon character back in the day, so Shiloh knows who I am. Um, it would be kind of cool to actually meet him in person. That would be kind of neat because he does seem like a pretty nice guy. He seems like a cool guy that I would like to hang out with. I mean, I I don't know if I would fawn all over him as like a celebrity or anything like that, but I think he's a pretty cool guy, and I respect that he's Forrest Finn's grandson and all that stuff. I would honestly, the kind of questions that I would ask him are just like, what was it like growing up with Forrest Finn as a personality in your household? Because like he lived with Forrest for many years. Um, that kind of stuff would be interesting to me. But yeah, he was aware that I was doing those cartoons back in the day. I should get back into doing cartoons. That would be fun. Like a little animated thing for this show. That would be kind of cool. So you might have seen just like in the last maybe 5-10 minutes and stuff, just building up these layers. Yeah, exactly. Drawing in reverse. That's what it feels like. It's drawing in reverse. I like it. Um, just building up these layers, you get this sense of depth in the character. Because like there are some areas that are like super in shadow, and then other areas that are like super light, and that just kind of makes it feel like you're looking three dimensional. I mean, it's kind of weird. The darkest area is actually the foreground. The little. I would say ill-fated mouse, but I really do think that the mouse is going to get away. Like looking at this picture, I feel like the mouse has the back door, and he's just taunting the cat. I didn't feel that way at the start of it, but now that I've progressed a bit, I feel like this mouse is going to get away. Can't believe how realistic this drawing is. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like a little bit goes a long way. Like I said, some people can spend hours trying to create a realistic picture. I feel like you can get enough information in. Um, I always talk about like my personal art philosophy is that you're a communications person, and your job as an artist is to communicate all the stuff that you need to communicate in order to convey that this is whatever it is that you're drawing. So in this case, I am communicating the cat, the mouse, and the fact that the mouse is in a hole in the wall. And I feel like you can get that kind of information in there fairly quickly, where you don't need to spend 6 hours or whatever. I keep saying 6 hours. I'm just saying like a long time. You could spend a long time getting these details in here, but if you have a fairly loose style and you're not worried about making it photorealistic, you can convey all that information I was talking about in what are we at? Like an hour and 20 minutes. Just by building up a few layers. And again, I don't want to overdo it. I want to leave a little bit of shadow and a little bit of mystery and all that stuff in this picture. So I will probably be calling this soon. But there are certain like ridges and stuff of fur that I want to get in there and all that stuff. And then a few little highlights. So again, whenever there's something that needs to be super bright, I go back to this gel pen because this gel pen is going to go over that colored pencil, and it is using ink over wax, so I do have to kind of clear it out every now and then. It kind of gets gummed up. I also think I need to get some new gel pens. I don't remember if I bought this at Walmart or if I bought it online. I'm gonna have to look it up because I do feel like I need some new ones. I don't use these gel pens often enough to where I remember to buy them. Just kind of hope that they work whenever I use them. So whenever something looks too cartoony like that, that's what I want to kind of go back over just to blend it in. Because like if it looks like lines, it looks like it's two-dimensional cartoon art or something. So definitely got those are areas that I would fix. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, as far as like things that I've worked on recently and stuff, this one definitely tells a story versus some of the other stuff that I worked on that does not. Got a cat looking at a mouse. Um, Pretty happy with that. Maybe work on this foreground a little bit, and then we'll call it done. But it's a little bit different than the style that I usually work on. Like I said, I've been purposefully working on like this sort of abstract realism where things aren't 100% realistic. There's a few stylistic things going on. This is probably more on the realism side, but I like to change it up. I like to stretch my creativity a little bit every now and then, and challenge myself to do something a little bit more. Tom says it gets more depth all the time. Yeah, that's what's cool about this. Like I could probably spend like another 6-10 hours or whatever on this picture and create something that looks like a photo. I'm not going to, but that's what's cool about it. If there's anybody out there who's trying to learn how to draw and stuff like that, I encourage you guys to try it. Um, but yeah, you just build up layers and stuff. I mean, I hesitate to say that there's not any skill involved in it because there probably is and stuff, but it is learnable. It is something that you can practice and just kind of like do on your own. It really is just kind of building up these layers, and each time that you build up a new layer of something, it looks more realistic. Sorry, drinking bourbon, drawing pictures. You're gonna get a BUI. It's that kid called. I don't even know what the B stands for. Are you just leaving the silhouette? Great question. Yes, I am, and I'm gonna develop it just a little bit more now that I look at it. But yeah, this is all black. Maybe a little bit underneath the chin, kind of define the mouth and stuff like that. But you wouldn't see the eye. It's completely in shadow. Now, if you're the artist, you can do whatever you want. But that's my interpretation. My interpretation is to leave it all in silhouette, and I think that looks cool. Um, but that said, I do need to kind of reinforce this line a little bit. Thank you for reminding me. But yes, I would leave the mouse and silhouette just because it's also. Whoops. All right, switch to this one. I dropped that one. It's also I should have been using this all along. It feels a lot easier. Um, it also gives it like this kind of like focal point. So you see the cat. You can obviously see all the features of the cat, right? So your eye is drawn to the cat. And then the story is that there's a mouse here, and you can barely see that mouse. So it's like a little bit of visual intrigue, right? So like it's not like a mystery. You know that this is a mouse. Um, but it kind of like works with your mind a little bit. It's like, what is that mouse doing? How is that mouse gonna live through this? Like, is the mouse in jeopardy? What's the story with that mouse? It like obviously the mouse can't get out. The cat's sitting there. Is the mouse going to starve to death? I mean, what's going on with that mouse? You know, so it's kind of cool. You know, I'm making this up as I go along, but it is kind of cool because again, I'm trying to get into like visual storytelling here. It is kind of interesting to wonder about this mouse so much, and I do feel like it being in silhouette lends to that. You know, if that makes sense. I mean, to me, I think it's way better for that silhouette to be in, or for that mouse to be in silhouette than it is to add details. Also, I should mention this just because it's an important point when it comes to the DUI with biking under influence. Well, I got DUI now because I'm drawing under influence. That's funny. You were talking about riding your bike to the bar. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, well, you go to the bar, you have your beer, and then you ride your bike back. Yeah, I guess that would be biking under influence. It's just one beer. Um, Relax, donkey. Jeremy needs a paw in there swiping. Yeah, for real. Seriously, more cheese. Yeah. Um, so anyway, the silhouette is at 100% part of the storytelling. Now, it also works in a like artistic composition thing. So like, here's the problem: if I added a lot of details to the mouse, you would have trouble visually wondering where to look. You know, like where is your eye supposed to go? So by leaving the mouse in silhouette, your eye is already automatically drawn to the cat, right? So like your eye is drawn to the cat, but then the cat is partially obscured by this mouse. I love this. Like I said, I built this off of a photo I saw. So props to the photographer. I don't know their name. It was just a picture on that Pinterest. Um, or else I'd definitely give them credit. But anyway, the visual storytelling in this is just amazing because like your eye is drawn to the cat because that's where all the detail is. That's just how art works. Wherever the detail is, that's where your eyes are drawn. But the subject, which is the cat, is partially obscured by the non-descriptive mouse. So it's like this cool like contrast. Anyway, just nerding out on the composition of it. I love this kind of stuff. But anyway, I think it's cool. Hopefully you guys think it's cool as well. But like I said, I would love to get into doing more art that has kind of like a story like this. I posted to my community tab a while back some graffiti I saw when out walking around town one time. Um, and it's another great example of simple storytelling. It had a mouse who had a shield and a sphere, and there was a fox jumping on the mouse and stuff. And it's like just a simple piece of art, but there's like the story there that I think is kind of cool. So anyway, don't expect every single piece that I ever create to like have a story, but definitely expect me to do more of this kind of stuff where I'm trying to convey not just information, but you know, something for you guys to think about. So you guys get to think about this story here. Like, is there more cheats? Who knows? Jeremy, it's really nice. Thank you. Heidi, hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. The cat is getting the morning report from the mouse about his late nights again. Yeah. So there we go. That's a great version of this. So like in Heidi's story, the cat and the mouse are in cahoots. So the cat is sitting there checking in with the spy who is the mouse. So the mouse isn't here to be eaten. The mouse is here to like tell the cat the report from like his spying and stuff. I love that. I love that aspect to it. It's cool. And that's yeah, you know what? That's a very valid way of looking at this. There's like I love it when you have a piece like this where it's like there's not just one story you can get out of it. One story is that the mouse is totally just waiting on the cat to eat, or the cat is waiting on the mouse to eat it. But I love these variations of that because it's not straightforward. There is some ambiguity here and some mystery to how this is all going to resolve itself. Anyway, I think I'm getting close to being done. I did kind of want this to just kind of be like a reflection. Like if you think of Bob Ross when he like reflects the trees and the mountains and stuff in the water in all of his pictures. I don't know if I can pull that. Let me try a blending stuff and see how well that works. I don't think this is going to work any different, but yeah, so I can sit here for like another hour and just kind of blend this stuff out and make it like more smooth, but I think it's good enough. I'm not worried about it. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's cool. So I think I am about done with this where I can say it is what it is. Like I said, if you were a hyper realistic artist, which I am not, you could spend another couple of hours just building up these layers and stuff. But I feel like the layers are built up enough where you kind of get the gist of this, and I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, like the real process would be that you kind of sit back with your bourbon and just kind of like look it over and see if there's any like quick pick me ups that you could do. Like I feel like through here I can kind of maybe add a few little highlights, kind of build up his beard a little bit, kitty beard. Yeah, like I said, it's not hyper realistic, but it's realistic enough. I like it. I think it's cool. Kid says, I love this one. Terrific. Nice. Tom says, one of my favorites, Jeremy. It's great. Well, you are a little biased. Tom is the resident cat person, which is awesome. He has a beautiful little orange cat. It's just really, really cute. Whenever I see a picture of it, I smile. Maybe a graphic novel. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call this done. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do some more illustrative storytelling through my art. See how it goes. Like I said, don't hold me to that where every single piece is gonna be that way because it's not. But I'll try to get more of them in there. And I love it that you guys have your own interpretations over what the story is. I love that aspect of it. So I will try to do things that are kind of ambiguous where you guys can kind of do your own interpretations. Because honestly, my impression is that an artist doesn't explain. An artist just creates work, and then you guys get to judge it, and you guys get to decide what the story is and stuff. So even though we've been talking about it, and it's been mostly me talking to you guys through the chat and stuff, it really is up to you guys on how you guys want to interpret this. So story you guys see in this, that's the story. I don't really have anything to do with it. All right. Anyway, I had a lot of fun with this. Hopefully, you guys did as well. Um, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Tuesday. I'm glad that we actually did a Tuesday one because like last week we had to push it. I'm glad that we're back on a regular schedule, which means I will be back on Thursday and we will do another piece. I don't know what I'm going to work on. Dog's back there hawking up a lung. That's Guinness, by the way. He is feeling better. He was sick recently, but he's just got like gunk in his thing. He's not sick anymore. So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will see you guys on Thursday. Not sure what we're gonna work on, but we'll see. I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Bye. Thanks.